Alright, welcome back to Just Morpheus Gaming. I was gonna pick up where I left off with my last Let's Play. This fortress definitely seems to be feeling more pressure than the last one I did, or I'm trying to almost speed run it and get caught up to my prior game. This fortress, yeah, I spent most of last episode trying not to drown under the aquifer that I had breached. In the end, I got some good farmland out of it and got ahead of it, but that is basically where I left off. I have been enjoying this world. It is so much different than the prior one. What I really need to do is start working on a city center, and here is a bad option for it. The other option is I can breach the caverns and turn this into pasture. That should finish off my wall there. So everything is slowly drying out here. I need automation. And getting the people their offices will really help. In fact, I need to be able to understand how much food and drink I have, and at this point I'm just guessing. Okay. Yeah. Take 2 on the kitty. Be right back. Alright. Well, I definitely got sidetracked by a kitty, and yeah. Back to what I was doing, or really close to what I was doing. I was going to create the offices. So the manager was the important part. Okay, dismiss. No relevant skills. I'm going to grab... As far as the bookkeeper, the trapper, just trying to figure out who has the least amount of work, I guess. The expedition leader. And can he double as the broker? He can. Not all people can double in their jobs. So I'm going to assign that first office to my expedition leader. And the second office I want to create for my bookkeeper. So with that, I now actually have automation. Alright, my numbers have come in for... I'm getting a little low on drink. I have plenty of seed. I have almost no meat. I have plenty of plant, which is good. I was going to also look to start doing the farming. One thing about planting, since I'm now late summer, it doesn't really make sense for me to set up my farms for summer, but I do want to get them going for next fall, or for this fall. Now that the offices are actually complete, I'm going to repaint them so that they include their walls. Because having the walls will add value. Except, and since they are a wall that separates them, they can share a wall. Otherwise, it would give me a complaint about the overlapping spaces. In a way, that also has the benefit of if I like engrave this or make this of gold, it's shared between the two rooms, but it's still like private, if you will. I can overlap since there's a table and a chair there. They can have it as a dining room and they can have it as an office because they're not using it the same at both times. All right. I have a bored kitty. The snow is not being favorable. I left off with having just finished automation and working on getting the plots up. I did also want to, the next major thing I need to do is get like a tavern up and food up. Bedrooms would also be a good call. Migrants arrived. So when I was reviewing my footage, I should have looked at this immediately. Normally I would keep track of my notifications. So this would have came in like ages ago. It came in on my first video when I was reviewing it. It was like, oh, I can't believe I didn't notice it. Who was fighting? My herbalist was fighting a deer, and I don't know how he managed to fail at fighting a deer. Needs logs, no ammunition. I have not set up my work orders. Labor. Alright, I want to not collect wheat webs, hauling. What I was looking for was sieges and forbidding. Forbid used ammunition. I want to claim my ammunition. Chores. I do want kids doing chores, but I would like them not cleaning, doing animal hauling, refuse hauling, burial, or item hauling. So they're good to milk the animals, haul stone, wood, food, furniture. If they have something to do, I think it actually makes them happier, healthier individuals, if you will. Now that I have children in the fort, I do need to make sure I have that set. They also came with a goat, so I need to re-update every time you get migrants. You need to double check you add the new ones. Are we back to raining? Yes. Why do I have people out here? They're just trying to make sure my animals stay in their pens, I guess. One thing I have noticed throughout my videos is I do need to be better with enunciation. Make sure all my syllables are clear. One thing that I can even further do is something like two stockpiles here for one for unprocessed gems and one for processed gems. So if I go into gems, we have rough gems versus cut gems. I can basically say I'd like all my cut gems and stone. You can cut your stone. gemmas. Sorry. Cut gems. And with that being said, I wouldn't mind a stockpile for uncut gems. So I'll just throw in all my rough gems in glass here. Uncut gems. Tell this to not have gems. And that'll sort itself. I should not have just issued a bunch of gathering orders telling my dwarves to go out into the rain. One of the things I can do down here for automation is work orders. I can just say, work order, I want you to make blocks. If I have less than 10 blocks and I have 10 boulders, I'll set this actually up a little more and kick over 5. That will only happen at this workshop. So one of the other things I can do is like work orders, rock doors. I'd like to configure that so as long as I have less than 4 doors and I have the boulders available to do it, then make 4 doors. So I'd say mining's coming along. I still have wood now. Make some more of the bins. I will get basically everything eventually on automation, and there are things, so especially for like the city setup that's a little more rote, I'll probably just take offline. It's eating lunch. I don't necessarily appreciate that they muskmelon seeds. So we had a fresh muskmelon and they had that for food, which means I am getting low on food. I need to get meals up. In order to, I guess, prevent people eating random stuff, I need to be able to make them good food. Having a bigger stairwell than just one access point in and out is probably a good idea. I can widen that to 4. There's a lot of revamping that will happen in the fort over time. And the still. I need to get food and booze up. And yeah, as long as I have any rough gems to cut, I want to cut a gem. It's not the most efficient job because it's going to trigger all the time and it only triggers once a day. So at this point, I'm just going to preload it with the cut gem tasks. It looks like I only have 4 gems. And there's another 4 over there, which is good. If I had those bins, which means I'm actually short bins, I should have bins over here for the gems. Alright, I have kitchen up. I want just a couple easy meals. I'll create a stockpile for my meals. And I can also do a stockpile here for food. Not all food can be cooked. So building out the stockpile can be a little odd because if I just go into food, a lot of my food can be turned into other things. I mean, like my eggs I can actually put into a prepared meal. The unprepared fish, I would need to actually make a fishery. So that is a good point here. I want a unprepared fish and fish area. Uncleaned fish. So under food, if I do unprepared fish, that will actually now give me a place to stack all that. I want a place for prepared fish, because that's what'll be used in meals. Now, for main food things in here, like not all plants I can actually cook into food. Fat, paste, pressed materials, some of this I will, and going back to like, I don't want my seeds pulled down here. All my meat, all my eggs, all my cheese. And same with like my fruit leaves. A lot of this isn't even a candidate for cooking, but a lot of it is. And unless you know how to tear through it, splitting this up can be a little bit of a pain. But either way, that was a bunch I can clear out of my main stockpile here and hopefully get this cleaned up. No cheese, no egg, no unprepared fish, no meat. And that'll help that get cleaned up. I'm also going to move my gems out of here. I thought I already did. There just isn't a place to put them yet. I need more bins, which means I need more wood. So it looks like I'm just about out of wood. Questioning how I ended up with... I have 2 more pieces of wood to gather. I just have more tasks than I have right now, people to do it. I have a competent marks dwarf, a novice planter. So as far as planter, I need to assign that. I will, at this point, reassign my fisher dwarf. Since I have 2 herbalists, I will now, or 2 people with herbalism, we'll grab that. And for stone cutters, having a bunch of people being able to cut and smooth is nice. I'm also going to grab, I have a weapon smith. That's great. Let me see what my weaponsmith looks like. So if I go into, I was in the right place. Because if I have somebody that can make me weapons, that's awesome. He's talented. So he can definitely use some more experience, but I'll take somebody with some experience over no experience for sure. Get the rest of my plants up. Pigtails, my big ones I want for plump helmets basically. Sweet pods you can turn into syrup. Query bushes you can feed a fort on. They're amazing, but they take a bunch of processing. If I can get clothing going, that'll really help my people. Cave wheat, yeah, there's a huge learning curve on this game. Cave wheat's useless without getting ability to process wheat, and that's something I will do, but not right this second. Sweet pods, once again, they really don't do me a lot of good without turning them into syrup, but it helps for making good food. I need to add a bunch more cut gems to this task if I want it to be done for... I also need to start separating off my seeds so I can create a seed pile over here. I need to get some bird boxes going actually for my hens. In stone? No, it's in crafts, and I don't have a crafting table up yet. So build, workshops. I have to be out of wood at this point. I don't know why I haven't reclaimed these. Or just claimed them in general. I have a bunch of blocks, but I want to increase my work order. It's less than 50, make it. Okay, I have a bunch of wood now. Need to work order. At this point, I'm just going to set up a work order for wooden bin. If the number of empty bins, because I want empty bins on hand at all times, is less than 3, and the number of logs is greater than 3, then make 3. So automation is really nice, but you also have to be careful with making sure you have the materials on hand. We just changed seasons, so we're now in early autumn, and that's what the autosave is about. What it's going to do here is not rock job, the nesting boxes. I need some nesting boxes. I was hoping for like 6 nesting boxes. I'd normally, let's just say do 6 or 6 to 1/2 dozen to the other. I can continue to push this back and have more of an industry here because I don't have a way to, I need to get the fishery up. Somebody making bins. I have the doors. One of the things I'm also going to automate is tables and thrones. But now that automation's going, I think it will really help here. Got farming going, have seeds going. Yeah. So with that, I might call it and see how it splices into the other one. And yeah, look forward to doing some more Dwarf Fortress in the future.